What's going on, Tamers? It's me, Guy, trying to figure out how he's going to get his Japanese reboot booster boxes while he's visiting America over the holidays. Side note, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Bandai has decided to do a reprint booster set featuring a ton of hard to get your hands on cards that were originally released. If you want to know more about that, I did a video on it, so check out the channel. But I don't want to get too far ahead of myself because the BT12 Across Time box set is releasing here in Japan on Friday as of the making of this video, which means very, very soon. And I'm getting my hands on a couple of boxes, and I'm so excited for some of the new support as well as the new archetypes that are coming out in that set. Unfortunately, womp womp, I don't have the time I would like to have to do a full set review. So for this one, I'm going to do the top 5 most anticipated cards I have for that set, just based off what I've seen and taking a look at the full card list myself. So let's hop into it. So the first card on my list is going to be a very welcome addition if you are a Gallimon or a Digimon player and or fan, and that is going to be the new red Taktomatsuki Tamer. One of the harder parts of that deck was getting to level 6s and beyond required significant amounts of memory, about 4 or more, and in which case it was kind of tough to get that when you only had the old Taktomatsuki card, which didn't really give you much memory gain. Meanwhile, the new Takuto Tamer sets your minimum memory to 3 at the start of a turn, which means you can get that 3 memory you need, plus the extra one from the old Takuto Tamer, so you can get to your Gallimon and still keep your turn. Additionally, he allows you to digivolve any Guillemon straight into a Gallimon or a Digimon, whereas this effect was typically locked behind the starter deck Guillemon. Now it's open to any Guillemon you have in play. Additionally, you can grab a War Groundmon and a Groundmon that's in your trash and put them up under that Gallimon or Digimon. But wait, there's more. He also allows you to gain plus 2000 DP on that Gallimon, which lets it swing over some of those larger targets on the board. And so if you were one of those folks who hung on to their Digimon X antibody decks like I did, then this, as well as the rest of the Guillemon support that's going to be releasing with BT12, is going to be a welcome addition to your deck. In the EX3 Draconic Roar box set, Machinedramon got an upgrade with the new red-black Chaosdramon. And then in BT11, Machinedramon got a further buff by adding the new Analog Man as well as the new Machinedramon, which allows you to play a Machinedramon from your hand whenever it's destroyed. And you know, at that time I said, wow, that's pretty wild. I don't think they could possibly make this deck any stronger. Wrong. The new Chaosdramon X antibody card from the BT12 set is absolutely insane. So first of all, it's an X antibody card, which means you can digivolve from the same level, which means you can digivolve this off of either a Machinedramon or a Chaosdramon. Now, the previous incarnations of Machinedramon and Chaosdramon had an effect where basically, instead of them being destroyed on the field, you could remove 2 of the Cyborg level 5 cards and their sources, toss them to the trash, and then it would stay on the field. That was great, but whenever you ran out of Cyborgs, then the party was over. Well, with the new Chaosdramon X antibody, every single turn you can take a Machine or a Cyborg type Digimon in your trash and put it up under the sources to keep the party going. Now, if that wasn't already crazy enough, on all turns, he has all of the effects of all the Machinedramon and Chaosdramon up underneath him, which means he's going to be sticking for a long, long time. In my opinion, the best situation here is to get the BT11 Machinedramon, where you can spin an Analog Man to the bottom of the deck and then play a new Machinedramon whenever it's destroyed. On top of that, digivolving into the red-black Chaosdramon, who has the protection of removing 2 Cyborg or Machine types, and not having it removed from the field, and then digivolving the Chaosdramon X antibody over the top of that, which means that it's going to be really tough to get rid of from the Chaosdramon's effects, and then on top of that, it's also going to be able to spin a new Machinedramon onto the board as soon as it's destroyed to keep the party going for way, way longer. And if that already wasn't enough, like if all those effects combined don't sound just like a game-winning scenario, if they do manage to destroy this Chaosdramon X antibody, they just drop a security. So they just have to drop a security off the top of their security stack. Just discard it. Outright. Boy, these Digimon effects starting to get me sweating, man. Game's about to get wild. I think I can say with some degree of certainty that if you like Agumon, there's a ton of deck options for you in the Digimon card game. Now, not all of those have been super popular recently, but I think this new card from BT12, the BT12 Black, Red, Greymon, buffs up every single one of those decks full stop. His effect of allowing you to just play a TIE Tamer is pretty buff, and I think that when I say that, folks probably think of like this Tamer right here. Editor me, do the thing, yeah, good shit. However, if you take a look at all the TIE Tamers, then this becomes the pool. Do the thing again, editor me, do the thing, yeah. But when I really think about the Agumon deck, combining this Greymon with the TIE Tamer for that deck, as well as cards like Tai and Sora, which decreases the power of all of your opponent's security, which means that all of those Agumon and Greymon have a greater chance of surviving, is pretty bonkers, to be honest. And where I think that the original Agumon deck struggled in card efficiency, It's been made up for with a lot of these new cards being able to search so much stuff off of one Digimon. Again, my personal pick is going to be for Agumon. I'm definitely going to rebuild that deck now with the new Greymon card. But if you've got any Agumon, Greymon, Omnimon deck just kind of sitting around out there, definitely keep your eyes on this new BT12 Greymon card because it is going to be a banger. Look, I'm a fan of all Digimon, but longtime watchers of the channel know that me and all my homies hate green. So if you're watching this, you're my homie, which means you have to hate green. Now I have to admit that these past couple of sets for the Digimon TCG have been pretty offense oriented. I feel like a lot of these are just like guns blazing mon, whatever variant. Which means we really haven't seen many control decks make it very far in these metas. But when I take a look at the new Quartzmon, it does feel like a return to, green basics of being able to control the board, full stop. He's like the old Puppetmon when the game had just come out. You guys remember that? Puppetmon play where you just drop 10 and your opponent can't do anything? He's kind of like that, but he suspends everything. Tamers, Digimon, and then he gains Memory off it, which means he's technically cheaper than a Puppetmon. And then on top of that, nothing unsuspends. It's like, hey, remember all those cool things you were doing? Not anymore. Stop it. And if freezing the entire board already wasn't enough, every turn he can freeze one new thing to make sure that your opponent has that much more trouble getting over him. And in my opinion, if we're at the point in the game where you can technically freeze the whole board up until that point, and your opponent can still fight back, strategically the game is in a really good state. And so I'm super excited not only to play with Quartzmon, but also against Quartzmon. Because me and all my homies hate green. And so we come to the number one spot, the number one card that I'm looking forward to for the BT12 set, and it has to be, without a doubt, the BT12 Digimon Superior Mode. So why am I excited about this regular super rare when I haven't even touched either of the secret rares, which are, again, both bonkers in their own right? Digimon presents a type of removal that the game, I think, needs at this point. If you haven't watched my video on the BT11 meta, where I talk about the raid boss type monsters that are difficult to remove from the board in a single turn, Digimon presents an answer that has not been there thus far. Or it has been there, but it was in Bagara Army, and no one could really play that deck at the speed the other decks were going. So maybe in BT12, Bagara Army gets the buff. In fact, I think it definitely does. There's a strong case to say that because save has been expanded to a crazy degree. But Digimon presents the effect that allows you to basically put a Digimon up under another Digimon or Tamer on the board. And where before, where I think that the raid boss style monsters were really difficult to remove from the board, and often meant they could just control the game once they drop down, Digimon presents an answer that they have to be on their toes for. And because BT12 brings the save mechanic to the forefront outside of just Crossheart, I think getting his effect to, potentially put a level 6 or level 7 Digimon up under one of their Tamers and render it completely useless for the rest of the game is pretty powerful and I think easy to achieve. That on top of the fact that he can basically attack at the end of the turn without suspending is super cool in my opinion. Now, I do have one question though. If I'm already suspended, can I still attack at the end of the turn using that effect? If you know the answer to that question, please hit me up in the comments below because I really want to figure that out before the set releases. And so that's going to be my list for my top 5 most anticipated cards for the BT12 Across Time Set. Now look, I know there's a ton of cards I didn't even get to touch on today. There's so many cards coming out in this set with so many cool effects, it was really hard to narrow down to just this list of 5. There's tons of honorable mentions here. Both the secret rares seem super interesting. The expansion of the Crosshair archetype as well as Bagara Army seems really great. The idea that Yellow technically has a 3-cost level 5 at this point is wild that nobody's talking about that. So folks, let me know what your most anticipated cards are for the BT12 set in the comments below, as well as what decks you're interested in trying out or support you're interested in trying out for those cards in that set. Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Before you get out of here, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.